always want to talk about what is it like when you basically everybody dreams about is having money, but and being a millionaire. That just seems to be like this elusive title, being a millionaire. But what people don't really understand is if you're a millionaire, that's probably the biggest misconception about money that exists out there is that if you're a millionaire, that you're rich, which you're not. Nothing really. It wouldn't. Let me correct myself. That isn't necessarily true. So, what is being a millionaire? Millionaire just means that you have assets that are worth $1 million, and obviously minus liabilities. Once you take away all your liabilities, you have assets that are worth more than a million. In fact, if you walk down New York, basically every building that you see, the person that owns it is most likely a millionaire. Does that mean they have $1 million in the bank? No. In fact, they're probably living paycheck to paycheck just like most other people. In fact, and this is a true story. I had a conversation the other day. A gentleman that we've been talking about doing a deal since last summer, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't come to be. And he was calling me. I'm basically complaining that he was broke. Now, he owns a piece of land that is worth $4 million. He's a multimillionaire. He doesn't think of it this way because it's not cash in his hand, but that's the reality of it. Just because you own $1 million assets, it doesn't mean you just have the liberty to go out there and spend money like crazy. And that's really what people. That's what's so crazy, because once you get into the game where you can become a millionaire or have millions of dollars in assets, you have to have changed your idea about money to the point where what you thought you would do with $1 million, basically you can go buy all the clothes you want, the cars you want, the houses you want. You don't think like that anymore because it's that type of thinking that prevents you from getting wealthy. It's like the two don't go hand in hand. I mean, most people that accumulate wealth do so over a long period of time. There are a few, like athletes and entertainers, that are very cash rich, but that is very short-lived. But those are the ones you see showing off with money and having all these emblems or symbols of wealth. And anybody with half a brain can tell that this person is going to run out of money very, very quickly. Just the people like Mike Tyson. They say he made $300 million in his career. Now, granted, this is another misconception because he didn't make $300 million. That just was paid out. He probably made 1/6 of that. Still a substantial amount of money that was just blown. And the thing is this: when you spend according to that type of income, but you don't prepare for the future, you're gonna go broke when it's all said and done. So, this is a bit of a rant, but I just want to express that being a millionaire doesn't mean that you're rich, and becoming a millionaire isn't as hard as you think. Let's use I talked about the fastest and cheapest way to buy a property, and what I wrote about in my book is how to get $1 million asset in, like, I forget what it was, 24 months, whatever it was. It's really not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. You need very little money to take it there. But that doesn't mean you're $1 million cash rich, So that's probably the biggest misconception about money, is that just because you're a millionaire is that you're rich. That's not the case. And in fact, if somebody's a billion, even billionaires, the same thing. Billionaires are broke. Remember Michael Jackson? He was a billionaire. They didn't tell you that, but he was a billionaire because he owned 50% of the largest music publishing catalog in the entire world. But he hawked it. He kept mortgaging that thing. So he was constantly playing catch up. So he was always having cash flow problems and liquidity problems. You understand? So again, just because you're a millionaire doesn't mean you're rich. Just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean that you won't have financial problems. In fact, people that are multi-millionaires, they have the same type of struggles that anybody else with making, a lot of times. So it's really just a matter of perception. A different conversation. Basically, I just wanted to share that just because you're a millionaire doesn't mean that you're rich, and becoming a millionaire isn't as hard as you think.